Have you ever wondered how you can make stickers using your computer and a silhouette Cameo? Well, come along because I'm going to show you the process that I use to create stickers. Hi, I'm Desha and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I talk about my small business that I run out of this studio. I talk about how I create content to promote my business, and I take you along the journey so that way you can learn from me and help me grow too. So if that interests you, then come along. Today, I'm going to quickly show you how I use Canva to make stickers to be able to sell on my small business. I do sometimes use Procreate and draw my own sticker from scratch, but I think this is the most easy way to show you how you can, to show you that you don't have to have an artistic ability to be able to produce them. There are workarounds. All right, so when I am making stickers, I usually start with a 10 by 10 inch canvas. That way there's plenty of room. So I'm just going to go Canva and I'm going to hit custom size, change this to inches, and I'm just going to do 10 by 10. Like I said, that just gives you a lot of space. That way you can upsize it. Basically, you want to make it as big as possible. That way when you export it, it has the best quality, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does or not. So here I have this 10 by 10 inch square, and this is going to be the base I'm going to start with. So especially if you have a Canva Pro account, if you don't, I definitely recommend it. You can look through elements, graphics, shapes, whatever. Now be warned, I can't just slap this sticker on here and print this as is and sell it. Okay, because I just took somebody else's work and I didn't change anything to it. Now, if you take this and add some text to it, you will be fine, but you cannot just sell this as is. So, but there are a lot of different things, like these are just some things that I recently used. So there are a lot of elements that you can use. Just have to keep that in mind. So I have a disco ball sticker, and I kind of want to rework it because I have an idea. So let me see if I can just type in disco and if it'll bring up what I'm looking for. So this is the sticker. I think that's the right file that I'm looking for. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Actually, it's not. So this is actually just the whole sticker. I need just the disco ball. So let me see if I can find. Maybe I have a disco ball that I drew, but I think it's already a part of something. I don't think this is it. So I'm going to have to find that one. And I think it's actually this one. No, it's actually not that one. It's this one. Okay. So I'm going to stretch it and make it as big as possible. It doesn't really have to be as big as possible, but you want it to be pretty large. I'm going to change the background color. That way I can just see better what I'm doing. And the one I have right now says, let's get lit, literacy, or something like that. Like, let's get lit, but literacy. But I want to make one that says book club is my favorite club. And I am planning to do a whole book club collection. So that's kind of my idea, but I did want to break it down and kind of show you what I do. Bright Retro is one of my favorite fonts. So I'm going to start here. And I might do 2 different fonts. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to duplicate this. On this one, I'm going to get rid of book club because I might. Again, that was the opposite of what I was trying to do. Okay. In one of them, I'll probably leave the bright retro. So I might leave it as is. I just realized it says if my favorite club, not is. That's obviously way too big. So we're just going to resize this. And then I'm going to fix my typo. So I think I kind of want the words to hang off the disco ball some. And we're just going to kind of play around with it. Because the main thing is, like, whether you like my style or not, it's mostly about understanding the process of what we're doing. So let's see if I can, do I like this one? It's another one of my favorite fonts. And I don't know about you, but I feel like the sticker, I might make this fit on it better. Okay. The black is obviously a little bit hard to see, so we're going to change that to white. And I'm going to add a back, no, I'm not. I'm going to add an outline. And let's see if we can add like a cool, like pinky purple color that would complement that. And then I can also make the border a little bit thicker. That's cute. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Or I might even invert it. So let's try. Whoa, I don't know why I did that. I'm going to try invert it, and if I don't like that, then we'll switch it. All right, book club is my favorite club. All right, so this is where it's important. I'm going to take this sticker. I'm getting ready to download it. This is when you need Canva Pro. If you don't have Canva Pro, it's not going to work, because you need to download this with a transparent background. That's going to get rid of the gray and leave just the PNG. There are other ways to do this. I know you can do this in like Procreate. I think you can actually, you might be able to do this process in Silhouette. I just don't know how to, you know, so I can't attest to that. So now I'm coming back to the same page and I'm just adding a clean sheet, and that same PNG that I just downloaded, I'm going to re-upload it. Now it's going to make all of that flattened together as one image. So before it was the disco ball with text, two separate texts on top. Now it's going to be flattened where all of it exists together. Now here's going to be the tricky part, and this is why I probably should not have used the disco ball, but we're going to try it anyway. Now that it's a photo, I can hit edit, and I'm going to be adding a shadow around the entire thing. And that's what's going to make this stick together. Here's the problem. You see the space here? That's bad. I need it to all stick together. There we go. So it is going to kind of change the format of the sticker, because now it's like has this white border. There is a way around it. Instead of doing this, I'm just going to duplicate this. Instead of doing it like this, I could just do a whole white circle instead of doing any kind of fill around it. So let's see what that would look like instead. Go back to 9, and then I'm going to go back and I just want the shapes. Thank you. And we're just going to see, like, if we made a big circle. I'm trying to get that centered. I can tell one of the stars is off, so let's do a little bit bigger. And you can play around with the color. A couple of reasons you want to do this. One, the disco ball specifically, it's going to cut those little stars out individually if you leave it like that. See, personally, I would rather have it go around the sticker than to do that, but each their own. So something like that. Personally, I don't love that. I'd rather just have it like this. I do wish it wasn't so thick. So one thing I could do is just get rid of the stars around the outside. But basically, my machine's going to cut around this. So you do want, no matter what kind of sticker you're making, you're going to want to do this process. That way there's something for it to actually cut around. I'm going to do boop, boop, boop. Let's erase those. And now it just leaves whatever was there. And then, yeah, I think that's going to fix the problem. So once again, I'm just going to download this one. And it's kind of trial and error, like figuring out what you like and what's going to work for you. So I'm just re-downloading that. I always, whenever I'm making stickers, I'll always have a bunch of the same PNG just floating around on my computer, because I kind of have to go back and forth with it. But that's fine. It's a process. Typically now, since I do it so often, I can kind of tell if there's going to be an issue beforehand. And honestly, I thought the stars were going to be a problem, but my other sticker that I have with the same disco ball looks better than that one. So I don't know what's up with that. All right. Oops, it's a little bit too big. So again, I've got to add that white border because these stars would not be connected to that if not. But these are closer. Yeah, so like to me, this one looks not as bad because I can leave it. I can go as small as here and still have it. And I typically like with this, I usually do like a white border. But you could do like a pink, something else. And then I'm going to hit download. This time I don't need that first one. Oh, you still need the transfer background. I don't need the first one. I just need that second one because this is the one that has it all flattened out with the border. So it's downloading. And now I'm going to silhouette. And I'm going to, I didn't even need to do that. I'm going to open that new file that I just made. And it's just I just know it's the last one because I just do. So for silhouette, the best way to do something like this, first of all, you got to resize that because I made it such a big file size. When it imported it in here, it makes it huge. This is basically, to me, just a way to make sure that you still keep the integrity of what the sticker looks like. Another pro tip that I kind of forgot, when you go to download it, another thing that I like to do is turn up the resolution. Especially if you have Canva Pro, then it's not an issue. So I'm going on here and enabling the registration marks. So when I print it, basically that's how the machine knows where it needs to cut at when it makes my stickers. So I think that's a pretty good size. And then as I cut these, I get them as close as possible on to each other. I don't want to waste any room, but you do have to be within these red registration marks. So like right there, that one's outside of it. I'm going to move this one over a little bit. It's best to also avoid this netting, but usually I can make it work even if it does touch it. So I just kind of turn them because it doesn't matter how they cut out. They're going to be completely removed from the sheet when I'm finished, so it will not matter. I'm going to make this go down on the y-axis some. That way those are not overlapping a little bit more. And I just play around with those numbers. And then I'm just going to duplicate that and make it work for the whole sheet. Now, usually, especially if I don't know how something's going to turn out, I don't do a whole bunch of one at the first time. Like I might cut a different design instead. But I'm feeling frisky today. I'm not doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate these, move these down a little bit so there's no overlap. And honestly, if I cared more, I might spend more time to like carefully arrange them where I can get the biggest bang for my buck, like the most amount of stickers on here. Oops. It's easier if you don't do that. Yeah, I just don't have to like being that careful with it. So yeah, looks good. So now we have 12 stickers on one sheet. I don't see any overlap. Sometimes I might go ahead and hit send just to check because it will tell you if there's going to be a cutting issue. Okay, something I did not notice. There is a dot in the middle of the sticker, so it is going to cut that out. It's not that serious to me, so I'm just going to leave it. But I guess let me see how it turns out, and then we'll go from there. But this is basically just to show you the process. So I just hit print, and I'm about to come over to my computer. I'm using matte sticker paper. It's from Online Labels, and I'm just sitting it in my Epson tank 8550, and I'm hitting print. I already have my print settings just like I like them. If you're having issues with like how your stuff is coming out, go to your, I think it's the print settings, and mess with the color. I have mine on 5 brightness, 5 contrast, and 10 saturation, and I just change it as needed depending on what I'm printing. Typically the only time I change it is if I'm printing my bookmarks that are black. That's usually the only time that I feel the need to change it. So I'm gonna let that print, and then we'll be able to laminate them and cut them out. All right, I have my sheet. Now I'm ready to laminate. So personally, when I put my lamination on there, I found that sometimes the machine has problems reading the registration marks if they're covered. So I'm just gonna get scissors. And I'm literally just gonna trim the lamination where those marks are. That way the machine is not confused. While I'm doing this, I will talk a little bit about the silhouette. So I have had issues printing, and what I found, no matter how annoying machine's being, it's doing whatever it's doing for a reason. So if you're having problems cutting, some solutions or like issues that I found recently that by fixing these is what fixed my machine. First of all, if your mat is not sticky anymore, that could be one of the issues. Another thing, covering the sensors. Sometimes if my light is off in the room, I have to cut it on so that way I feel like the machine can see better. Make sure there's nothing clogging your blade or your sensor. I have the problem with a little bitty sliver of paper, like so teeny tiny that you wouldn't even think it would matter, was covering my sensor the other week. And it took the longest to get my machine to cut. So I'm taking that laminated sheet, sticking it down. The square sensor part goes in first. That's the part that it's going to read. Sometimes the registration fails. If it does, then I will just manually registrate it. It decided to not register it on its own. So all I'm going to do is re-eject it, insert it again, and I'm going to use the arrows on the machine to make the cutting tool line up right over that black square that I showed you. So now the cutting tool, which is this one where the one is right on top of the black, and it should make it register correctly. All right, during this part, I was so worried about how the stickers came out that I didn't even realize I wasn't wearing the microphone. It's literally still sitting back here on this little shelf as I'm looking at the stickers, not the bookmarks. But what I noticed is they did not print correctly, and I really don't know why. I did use the other side of the mat that I haven't used yet, and it was super sticky, but to me, that's not a reason for it not to cut properly. I don't know what happened. So here I am just like peeling it up because I did notice some stickers were close, and I was just going to use that to show you like what it should look like. But it was just going to bother me that they didn't turn out correctly, especially for this being a video showing you how to do it. So after this, after I look at the mess up, I do end up printing them and cutting them again to show you the correct process. But as you can see here, the bottom is just a little bit wider than the top, and that's just because it did not print correctly. And like I said, the machine is just kind of finicky. Sometimes I don't know what the reason is. So, all right, let's look. This is try number 2, and we are in business. So literally all I did was just blow on the section where the sensor was. And we are good to go. I'm going to fill one up. They do have tools. I need to get me some tools. And there we are. Book club is my favorite club. And then you can do all kinds of different designs with these. You can use different laminations to make whatever your heart desires. So let me know if you have any other questions, anything else you want to see. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.